Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Doing good. I'm doing good.
Oh, was I asking you, Boone?
Oh, were you? I don't know. I mean,
okay.
I feel like I'm part of it, you know?
All right, hey, good to see y'all. How you feeling tonight? All right, let's start. We'll try to get it growing from there. Hey guys, my name is Brent Ryan, and welcome to SongwriterTX. I feel like most of the time I'm telling y'all all that information, you already know that. I always like to ask, how many of y'all are return offenders? Yeah, that's
nice.
what it's all about right there, man. So thank y'all for your loyal fanship of the show. Very honored to have y'all here, and so tonight I want to tell y'all we have two guests that I've been very excited about, and then a bonus prize as well. So. I've been a Mike Blakely fan for a long time, and occasionally I hit up Mike to teach me how to do things that I don't know how to do, and he's always been so gracious to talk to me about his experience, because he's a true writer, novels, music, and quite a bit of both, and a bit of a Fredericksburg mainstay. So y'all greet Mike Blakely here as one of our guests tonight.
Thank you, Brent.
Mike went and hurt himself. I'm assuming you were wrestling a steer or roping something large or something of that nature.
It was an alligator.
Alligators.
A stray alligator.
Texas
came out
ranch
of the
alligators.
Guadalupe,
Yeah. So because he has procured an injury unexpectedly, well, no, you had a shoulder surgery.
That's true. Yeah.
You're getting fixed up.
This is my second shoulder. I've run out of shoulder now.
The good thing is his voice is very much intact, but strumming a guitar was not so easy. So he brought along this kind of... John Greenberg is learning how to play guitar, so be gracious with him. He's picking it up. He's got a few scales in his toolbox, but Mr. John Greenberg is going to play along. So let's give John Greenberg a hand. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And then... If I may just spoil you a little bit, Andi, to say one of my favorite people is Andi Holleman, and I met her with a past SongwriterTX show that we booked. Actually, Mike and Andi are both past guests, but new to the RockBox show, and because of the way she talked about her music and her life and sang her song, it's the kind of stuff that we do this show for. Is like that sincere. I write songs because I have to kind of mentality that real songwriters have. And Andi's got that, and it moves me. So I'm so honored. I was like, I got to have Andi back on the show to bring her to the RockBox, because while it was cool having you in the radio station, I wanted to give you this audience because y'all are amazing. So Andi Holleman, y'all.
Thank you so much, Brent. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm so happy.
Now, we want to get going with the music. Again, thank you, JM Broadcasting. We are live on air right now with 99.1 The Buck, a station that I've recently become very acquainted with, because I'm new as a DJ for them as well. So, but right now we're running on air as 99.1. So for those of y'all who are listening on the radio right now, thank you for tuning in. If you can get here fast enough, I have something in this theater that you don't have in your car, which is a bar. So I hope you don't. So come on down and join us at the RockBox. It's free to come in here. You'll have a nice cushy seat. But if you are going to tune in on the radio tonight, thank you for tuning in as well. We also have FBG Live is here recording the broadcast, recording tonight, and we'll post later on the videos of portions of this show that we'll post like to our SongwriterTX social media, RockBox social media. So thank you to those folks in the RockBox for letting us do this thing. I'm going to say one more thing and then we'll get music going for y'all. Today is not just a SongwriterTX day, and there's not a lot of good that I generally say about social media, but there are some good things about it, and one of them is that when there's things that we need to remember as a country, as a culture, that word kind of gets tossed out there on a major scale. So we knew that this show was going to fall on September 11th because of the way we book these things the second Wednesday of every month. I just want to acknowledge that. I think we as Americans have a duty to live the full lives of beauty and freedom that God has given us in honor of those kind of tragedies and those kind of challenges and difficulties that our country faces. But I do want to spend just a moment saying and acknowledging that this is a day for memory, a heavy day. That might come out in some of the songwriting tonight at some point, but for those of us who were around, and I think that's probably most of us in this room, it's one of those things that we never forget. It left a mark on me for my entire life. So I just want to honor that memory tonight as well. But in doing so, we're going to have a great time. We're gonna share our hearts and share our stories with each other and enjoy being free Americans, right?
Yeah.
Well said, Brent.
Yeah.
Well said.
So let's do music. That's what we're here for. Now we're not organized, so we didn't really determine who's going to do anything first.
I heard that's overrated.
It
being
is
organized.
totally overrated. So
You can tell by looking at me.
yeah, we can roll some dice or whatever. But
my
I was going to say, well, Andi's got a guitar in her hands and Mike doesn't, so maybe.
I knew it.
There's your answer. It's obvious.
Yeah, somebody give us a song. What do y'all want to do first? What do you think, Andi? Why don't you kick it off?
Oh, I'm gonna do it. Here we go.
So one assignment, just tell them the short version of who you are, where you come from,
Short version.
where you live, and that kind of deal.
Yeah, my name is Andi Holleman, and I'm from born and raised in Houston, so Texas girl all the way. And I have been living in New Braunfels for the last 9 years, chasing a dream and writing songs. And I've been doing it for a while, but I'm just now doing it full time as of about 4 years ago when my son, decided to grow up and turn 18, and then I thought, okay, now is my time to ditch single parenthood for a while, and and just not for a while, forever, and and sing, and it again, I you'll hear some of this in my songs. I talk about chasing my dreams after doing all the parent stuff, but I wouldn't change it for anything. I think the timing is perfect for me. So I'm 43, and I'm just now doing it, and I just released an album a week ago. My first album ever. So anyway, that's called Going South. Thank you.
Hey, does your son give lessons on how to grow up? Because I'd take them.
Yeah,
take
thank you.
'em.
He's he's a good one. So I have one, and he's a good one, and I'm just so blessed and happy to have him. He had to listen to all this in our living room for years and years. I practiced and I sang and I wrote while I was doing that, and then and then when it was my time to shine, I was ready. So this is called Getting Stoned, and and it's about throwing stones when you shouldn't. It's not about that, but I know, here we go.
We know where y'all's
It's
minds
what you
were.
do after parenthood.
Yeah. You know what? Leave it up to interpretation. It's fine, but I actually wrote this song when a friend, and I use that term loosely, when she came up to me when I was singing at open mic and I was trying out my new stuff, and she was like, I don't think that you should pursue this. I don't think any of that was that good. And I went home, I was mad, and I went home and wrote a song, and it's called Getting Stoned. Jesus said to all of those without one single sin to cast the first stone. Well, the world's full of sinners like me. I already know I'm no kind of queen. Yeah. Why am I always getting stoned? Making the rounds and leave me alone. So many laying at my feet. Bro, I'm hoping I would someday fall. Maybe I'll just build us a wall. I was in your glass house just the other day. So why do you keep throwing stones my way? I just wanna do what I came here to do. So take your stones and throw them right back at you. Why am I always getting stoned? Make your rounds and leave me alone. So many laying at my feet. Throw them hoping I would someday fall. Maybe I'll just build us a wall. They say all you need is love. I'll have to ask for some help from above. All I need from you is love, from you is love. So why am I always getting stoned? Make your rounds and leave me alone. There's so many laying at my feet. Throw 'em open, I would someday fall. So why am I always getting stuck? Make your rounds and leave me alone. There's so many laying at my feet. Throw 'em open, I would someday fall. Well, I ain't never ever gonna fall. 'Cause baby, I just built us a wall. Built us a wall. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you. That one is on the album.
Yeah.
Were y'all expecting that voice? Come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you, Andy.
good.
Awesome. Mike, you gonna wail like that, man?
Yeah, well, I got to follow that voice. That's my problem, Ryan. I think I might just talk a while before I sing.
I'm excited.
You are right though. John is learning how to get around that guitar a little bit.
Yeah, he did all right.
Yeah,
I mean,
seriously.
I heard like a couple of good notes. And well, yeah. Well, tell folks. I know a lot of people here in Fredericksburg know you, Mike, because you play around this area quite a bit. But yeah, tell the folks about what you do, and let's kick
Oh,
something off.
man. Well, I'm rocking my new fashion statement right now with my sling.
Looking cool.
And I ain't going to do any guitar slinging for a couple of weeks. My good buddy John Greenberg, we've known each other for decades and worked together. And we're one of my best friends in the world. So give John another round of applause for being here for me.
Likewise.
He knows all my songs, so he might, I might mess up the words, but he's going to get the chords right, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm Mike Blakely. I write novels. I have a journalism degree, and years ago I kind of morphed out of journalism into fiction writing. I was a leader in that way because everybody else is morphing out of journalism into fiction now, too. Was a trailblazer.
Yeah.
But I've written, I think I'm working on my 16th novel, and there's a couple of nonfiction books I did as well, and I've recorded a bunch of albums with my friends John M. Greenberg and John Arthur Martinez and Walt Wilkins and all, a bunch of great friends that I've met over the years and played music with. So that's me, and Annie, my wife, and I, we write songs together and sing together. We've lived here for the past 7 years without managed to not get kicked out of town yet.
Yeah.
So that's, can I have a round of applause for that? I mean, my wife would have.
That's something. That is something.
Well, it's because of my wife,
You'll end up in a sling every now and then.
Yeah,
but you
that's
don't
right.
get kicked out.
Yeah, it's not always my elbow in a sling either. You know what I'm saying? So what we're going to do is John's going to play the guitar for me, and we're going to try to do these songs this way. And the first song here is called Angelina, or it's the whole title is Letter to Angelina. I write a lot of bittersweet cowboy songs. I grew up on a ranch. My dad's right here on the front row, Doc Blakely.
Yeah.
my mom's at home, tossing hay to the animals or something. They're still with us and doing well. And my dad's got more fans in town now than I do. So I wouldn't allow him to play fiddle tonight. He gets more applause. So no.
Yep.
No, that's not true. He just got back from Lukenbach where he's playing this afternoon. Wow. And so anyway, I grew up ranching on my folks' ranch, and so it's just kind of a natural thing to write these cowboy songs. And here's one I wrote years ago. It's a fictional story. I'm a fiction writer, so I come by these stories kind of naturally, I guess. I got some kind of knack for it. And we're going to do a song now. Our good friend Doug Figgs, who's one of the top-ranking cowboy singers all across the West, and he actually makes money at it. He's also a real cowboy and a horseshoer and the real deal. But Doug recorded a version of this song a few years ago. I'm real proud of that because he's a really good guy and the real thing. Cool. And we're going to do my version right now, my In the Sling version, and it's called Letter to Angelina. Angelina, I found a payroll for the winter, tending rough stock, free range. Lonesome as hell in a line camp out of Elko, but the scenery suits me for change. Angelina, don't remember me unkindly. I didn't mean to let you down. Whenever I see something beautiful, it always reminds me of the time I spent with you in town. Well, I understand how you think my life's gone wasted. I never made no money that I didn't burn. The cowpuncher's wage don't really suit a man my age, but I ain't taking nothing that I ain't earned. Angelina, don't remember me unkindly. I didn't mean to let you down. Whenever I see something beautiful, it always reminds me of the time I spent with you in town. Do you remember how we danced that night in Taos? I whirled you all across the hall. You gave me more on that dance floor in one evening than I ever could have given you it all. Woke up this morning, the stars, they were still shining. Then the sky turned turquoise blue, yeah. The snow was so fine, like white lace on the pine trees. And the first thing I thought about was you. Angelina, don't remember me unkindly. I didn't mean to let you down. Whenever I see anything beautiful, well, it always reminds me of the time I spent with you in town. I never should have tried to settle down. Angelina, Angelina. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate that, y'all.
Awesome. Man, what a way to
Really
kick it
good.
off, man. Hey, guys, y'all are gonna rock it tonight. I can tell. You already did.
They're in the zone. They're in the
So I'm going to kick off the first question tonight. One thing that I love about y'all as artists is y'all are creative, like beyond just being able to write awesome songs. I know that for both Andi and Mike. Both of y'all have done something kind of unique in your music businesses, which is you've diversified your approach to music in some cool ways. And what I mean by that is, first of all, and y'all hear me kind of hint if you come to this show regularly about how the music business is just turned so Wild West. There's like no rules anymore. There's not this path anymore. If you're trying to break into the business where you can actually make a living doing this, like here's what you need to do. That almost doesn't exist anymore. You got YouTube phenoms. You've got folks that go the more traditional route of getting, on labels or that kind of thing, or folks that just build a huge regional following because their live show is incredible, and all these different paths, trajectories. But both of y'all have like side projects that you kind of have branded outside of who you are as songwriters, and I think that's a pretty cool approach. So Mike is one of the members of the Outlaw Firm, which is a gathering of pretty competent songwriters, pretty quality people. But y'all have shows that y'all have done here in the RockBox that draw quite a bit of fans. And then Andi did something really cool that's only maybe a year or two old.
3.
3 years old. She started building like an all-girls band, and kind of fought like, oh, you're gonna build it. Now she's got like these powerhouse women that do shows as the Billie Jeans. If you ever get a chance to hear them play, they are incredible. They are so much fun. But it's like very different than what you do as a singer-songwriter, because y'all are kind of doing covers and rocking it out and just having a great time. So anyway, I would love for y'all to just speak to like how y'all approach your music as. Is that kind of motivated by a business strategy? Is it motivated by boredom? Is it just like, oh, why not? This sounds like a good time. How have those things kind of developed for y'all?
You go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's funny because I came across a Facebook post from 2008 or 2009 or something like that, and it said, "All right," and I was living in Katy, Texas at the time, right? And I hadn't really played much guitar, to be honest. My baby was a tiny baby. I really wasn't doing all of this yet. But in that post, it said, "Hey, I've started an all-girl band if anyone wants to join." And so far we have this one and this one. It didn't ever end up working out, but to answer your question, no one commented on that Facebook post, and I was just kind of like, whatever. And also when I was a little girl, I was in a little girl group called the Beach Boy Freaks. So that was me and my sister and 2 of our friends. We'd dance around and sing Beach Boy songs and harmonize and everything. So what I'm saying is, I don't think it's out of boredom. I think it's just always something that's been in me, and I've found the girls that had the same ideas as I had, and yeah, we sing covers, and it's a lot of fun. And it definitely wasn't a business strategy by any means. However, it is a pretty good side business for us as songwriters. And all 4 of us, there's 4 female artists that are in it, and we're all full-time female artists that write songs and play our songs. But we just do we're called the Billie Jeans, and we just we go around and we sing our songs, and it's just so much fun. It is such a fun show.
And do y'all learn each other's songs as well? Like, do you take some of your originals and y'all do those as well?
We have, and we do, and we have before, and we enjoy that so much, and we know each other's originals, and we play them together on stage sometimes.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we just have a very specific show. It's a very specific show where we do a lot of covers and harmonizing within those covers and make them our own. And it's so much fun. We're serious songwriters, don't get us wrong, but, we have some fun.
Never be too serious songwriter.
Yeah.
But it really is. If you ever get a chance if you see Billie Jeans on the bill somewhere, y'all play Green Hall quite a bit.
We do.
It's so fun. Y'all have these rich 4-part harmonies.
Yeah.
And just they turn these songs into these beautiful walls of female vocals.
I didn't even know harmonies had 4 parts, man.
Yeah. Sometimes we double up on the, unison, like the melody is
Yeah,
fine.
that's awesome.
But we do find a 4-part harmony sometimes, and it's incredible.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, and all individually talented. So when you go see them, one will pick up a little set and play in the middle or whatever. But I'm actually planning to draw from the pool of the Billie Jeans for more SongwriterTX guests as well. So we'll get to that eventually.
Yay.
But yeah. What about you, Mike? So how did the Outlaw firm kind of develop for y'all and getting that collaboration going?
It developed real slow because we didn't know for 20 years that we were developing a trio. We were just playing gigs together, writing songs together, and helping each other out with projects in the studio and all that. And a couple of years ago, somebody in what is now a trio said, "Why don't we just make this official and come up with a name for ourselves?"
Yeah.
So John M. Greenberg and John Arthur Martinez. I know we got John Arthur Martinez fans here, right?
Yeah,
Well, obviously.
yeah. And he's been here. He's been here on
He
the
has been
stage.
here
So yeah.
many times. So John and John were together, and they were trying to pick a name, and I was at home minding my own business, luckily. And I think it was John Greenberg that said, "Well, why don't we just put our names in alphabetical order, our last names, Blakely, Greenberg, Martinez?" And John Arthur Martinez says, "Sounds too much like a San Antonio law firm." So John Greenberg said, "Well, how about the Outlaw Firm?"
Yeah.
And they called me, and I said, "Oh, I like that, man." So we became the Outlaw Firm. That's the reason we're called that.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
don't try to
That's
get
great,
us
yeah.
on retainer or
Yeah.
anything.
KK's around representing on a T-shirt tonight too. So yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So we recorded an album, and we released it about a year ago. We're recording our second album now. We're going to release it on our Outlaw Firm cruise to Mexico.
Ooh.
Out of Galveston in January. Start leaving January 5th out of Galveston. If y'all want some info on that, y'all come see me during the break.
That sounds terrible. That sounds terrible.
I know.
Well, we appreciate the free tickets for the guests tonight, Mike, and y'all just
On the
make sure you
cruise.
check your calendars.
Let me call the wife. Tell her we're going on a cruise.
I'm there.
Yeah, that's right.
We can actually
That's funny.
discount.
We can?
I've got some leverage
Well,
to
let's do it.
discount. So if anybody wants to go on the cruise, it's not expensive.
We invited him
And
to
it's
play
only a
guitar
week.
and discount. That's awesome.
Sounds
We'd
like a
love
good
to- and
time.
If we get like 9 more cabins, we get a set of steak knives or something like that.
Oh, man.
Wow.
We can get them over this hump, y'all. Let's get them the knives. It's a game show all of a sudden,
Yeah,
Let's get them
right.
the knives.
Well, to spin off what you guys are sharing, I've had this notion since I started doing music back in 2016 that the missing tool in most singer-songwriters' toolboxes is collaboration. We don't really do it well in America, period. I like to think maybe we're getting a little better at it, but we have this idea that we have to blaze this trail and just out work ethic everybody else along the way, which is great. But the reality is when we team up, we all help each other and borrow off of each other's audiences and borrow off each other's encouragements and enthusiasms. I think it's very cool that y'all do that as musicians. So
It helps for so many reasons.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. So Boone, whenever you're ready to get something started, man, let's go.
Yeah.
We got to find up a cool
Yeah.
name.
I'm going to steal the Outlaw Firm now.
Yeah.
We'll sue.
Yeah. Here we go, court battle. You're going to sue us for some steak knives.
Let it be known that it was said on the radio.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You're on the record.
That's
Well,
great.
On the record.
I'm already guilty. We lose.
Well, let's give them another round of tunes. Yeah, Andi, you're in the cycle now, so let's hear what you got.
Let's do it. I'm gonna do a song called "Running on Fumes." I released this a couple of months ago. It's on the album. I released it as a single before the album came out. It's a story about what I was telling y'all earlier about single parenthood, and again how I wouldn't want to change anything. But there were a lot of hard years. I was a general manager at Whataburger and Taco Bell. I had insurance and a roof over our heads and food on the table. It was really great. But there were a lot of hard years, and this is called "Running on Fumes." She's got a trailer parked in a little spot jam-packed full with neighbors all around. She keeps to herself, raises her baby the best she knows how. She's got a lot on her mind and a little in the bank. Pours a cup of coffee and walks out the door. Works 15 hours so she can save a little bit more. Running, running, running on fumes. Those extra miles, her tank on low. What else can she do? Chasing money, chasing time, not chasing her dreams. They'll have to wait. There's somewhere else she needs to be. Gives more than she should day after day. She's so damn tired. She puts on her apron and does it anyway. Running, running, running on fumes. Those extra miles, her tank on low. What else can she do? Time, not chasing her dreams. They'll have to wait. There's somewhere else she needs to be. The traffic jam home is a long one. The drink she'll pour tonight, she'll make a strong one. She pulls in late to the trailer park. Dinner for two, he made her favorite again. And he says, thank you, Mom. So she pulls him tight, as tight as she can. Oh, running, running, running on fumes. Those extra miles, her tank on low. What else can she do? She's running, she's running, she's running. Oh, fumes. She's running, she'll keep running. Thank you so much.
Very nice.
It might have taken you a while to get there, Andy, but we're so glad you did.
Thank you. So, me too.
By the way, y'all, we have a brand new sponsor of the show. I've been talking about sponsorship a lot from this stage. We'll take more. Okay. But Mike Stark's Realty has funded our show for, and he's a realtor here in town who is actually, I was familiar with Mike prior to being involved with SongwriterTX because of my past work with the newspaper. He was the guy that I would go to if I had any questions about real estate trends. He kind of had his finger on the pulse of all things real estate. So Mike has helped us to get this show to a place where maybe we can start to build a foundation that's a little bit more stable for all of us financially. I'm super grateful for that, but I also want to tell you guys as our guests that Mike is probably, I mean, he's right there in the top experts in our town as far as what's going on with real estate, and has been in the profession for a long time. So for any of y'all real estate needs, he's a Remax guy. Look up Mike Starks on Google, and we're going to find some ways to get him involved with the show. But it's brand new. But I just wanted to shout out.
You know,
to
when I
him
talked to Mike on the phone, and I met Mike the first time on the phone, and I was talking to him about, like, you know, ways we could try to help him, and he kind of not rudely, but he kind of cut me off and was like, "Look, man, I really love the sense of community. I want to add back to that as much as I can, and one way is through the musicians. I know we have a lot of talented musicians and artists, and I just want to be a part of it." So I just wanted to throw that out there, that's kind of how our conversation went, and you know, like Justin and KK and everybody that does this show, it comes from the heart and is very authentic, and I just love to hear that from Mike. Really appreciate it.
And that's been the beautiful thing about y'all as the SongwriterTX audience. Y'all, everybody has been so supportive of this show. And even though we did this for months and months, not asking anything from anybody, we've opened up donations now on the ticket link on RockBox, just voluntary donations. And some of y'all have come through knocking out of the park for us. And it's very meaningful to us. Even just a little bit here helps. But in the meantime, for those who haven't done that, on the suggestion of somebody who has given a very generous support to this show, I put up the guitar case as a tip jar earlier in the show. I've always done it kind of at the end, but it's out there now, so that anytime throughout the intermission or after the show, y'all can help these artists. Whatever goes into that guitar case is not going anywhere other than home with Mike and Andi, just to help them, help bless them for a little extra for the
Leave
little
John out.
nominal pay. So yeah,
Leave John out. Man, I mean, you are just mistreated here, dude.
if you learn a third scale, John, we'll think about paying you a little bit for. Anyways, let's get y'all. It's your turn, Mike, to do a song. So let's get you going.
All right, speaking of KK, I promised KK I'd do this song in the first set of the show here, and so I want to keep my promise with the boss lady, KK, who co-owns this business, and the Western Edge and the Majesty Tour Company and a bunch of other deals in town. She's a very active business person in town. Thank you, KK, for having us all here. Y'all give KK a big round of applause.
Yeah.
She works so hard. Makes me feel like a slacker. Anyway, it is 9/11, Brent, as you so eloquently said earlier on. And I wrote a song about 9/11, but it was a year and a half after the incident, because I was driving through Kerrville and I saw a bumper sticker, and I was kind of stuck in traffic in Kerrville, which is, you know, can happen.
Yes, it can.
And not very long, but I was stuck there, and the bumper sticker said, "Let's roll," and I had to like lean a little further forward to read the fine print, and it said, Todd Beamer, with the date 9/11/2001, that September, and so I said, I didn't know who Todd Beamer was, and it said it's Flight 93 on the bumper sticker, so I knew what Flight 93 was, and I had to go to the good old electric internet, you know, to look it up, and I found out Todd's story. He was one of the heroes on Flight 93. His story basically was he was a husband and a father and a businessman and a young father, and with some little kids, little soccer kids. I think, as I recall, Todd liked to play rugby for his hobby, so he's a very athletic guy. He's one of the guys that stormed the cockpit on Flight 93 when there was nothing, no other alternative. So I thought, this is song-worthy. So it's a year and a half after 9/11 I wrote this song. It's on one of my albums, and it's called Let's Roll. Those were the last known words that he spoke. Let's roll. One morning we woke up in America after a long peaceful night. Manhattan stood in twin shadows. Beamer was boarding his flight, along with the martyrs and murderers, brought up on hatred and war, willing to die just to show us what kind of hell we could all be in for. The day the fuel flames flared in the offices, jet planes fell from the sky, good people jumped out of windows, praying to God they might fly. And on Flight 93 out of Jersey, Beamer witnessed a living nightmare. The darkest of days had descended, but something would rise in the air. Let's roll, America. Let's roll over the fear. Let's roll, roll on to better days. Forever remember the toll for the flag at half-mast on the pole, to honor a lost hero's soul. Let's roll. So Beamer reaches out to a stranger, calling from Flight 93. He gets an operator on the telephone, a face he won't ever see. She tells him about the towers and the Pentagon, and how he knows it's all true. He said they gotta try something, there's only one thing they can do. So Beamer says a prayer with the stranger, 'cause now he's made up his mind. Ain't gonna die without fighting, ain't gonna kill his own kind. And a handful of citizen soldiers make a tough, fateful choice. Somewhere above Pennsylvania, the stranger can hear Beamer's voice. He said, let's roll, America. Let's roll over the fear, and let's roll, roll on to better days. Forever remember the toll for the flag at half-mast on the pole, to honor a lost hero's soul. Let's roll, roll America. Yeah, let's roll over the fear. Let's roll, roll on to better days. Forever remember the toll for the flag at half-mast on the pole, to honor a lost hero's soul. Let's roll, yeah. Roll, let's roll. Thank you.
Great, great.
Thank y'all for sharing that with us tonight. Yeah. Appreciate
That was a great song. And, after those harmonies, too, I think you should share some of the money with John.
Oh, what's going to happen?
He's always very generous with me.
I know he is. I know he is.
Thank y'all so much.
Yeah, it's a
Boone, you
wonderful
got
song.
something for these songwriters tonight?
Yeah, I guess
Which,
I
by
do.
the way, why don't you shout out for the folks on your T-shirt there?
Oh, this is the Silver Sage.
Yeah. Where's
on,
our Silver Sagers tonight? Yeah, raise your hand.
Yeah,
we get
yeah.
this awesome crowd every Wednesday of the month that we do this, and they roll out here all the way from Bandera to come out and hear our show.
Yeah, and actually, John and I in the back were talking about Art and Lisa a little bit, too. So
We're
that's
just so honored that y'all come. I
Yeah.
think it's the coolest thing in the world, and Boone told me.
I wore this on purpose for
Yeah.
sure. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Represent. I did this. It was a benefit actually. We did this summer, and a bunch of musicians from Bandera, area, got together, and we don't do that enough. Talking about camaraderie, I got to see a lot of people that I don't get to see a lot, so that was good.
Yeah, awesome.
But
And yeah, if y'all don't come some month, we're just gonna shut it down. No, thank y'all. Really
definitely
appreciate
gonna be
the support.
depressed.
Yeah,
That's for
so-
sure.
Anyways, I'm sure you got some good banter for these folks.
Yeah, what if this would have been the month they didn't come and I wore the shirt? That would have been a fail there. Yeah. So I was thinking with Mike, you have written books and done journalism and written so many great songs. But how in the world did you get such a charming smile, man? Where did it come from? Your dad, possibly?
Well, no, sometimes it skips a generation, but
Say Annie.
he's got a better smile than I do.
I
So
can see it from here. It's a good smile.
No, really though, I've asked Kathleen Hudson, a friend of mine that I know that has written a book before too. It just blows my mind to think about the process of writing a book. So the first time you wanted to do it, you just started writing a book. I mean, you just here we go. Or was it just a bunch of collection of stuff that you had, or?
when I was a kid, my mom was, and my folks were ranchers, but my dad was a college professor. He taught agriculture, and my mom taught fifth grade. She was a fifth grade teacher when I was in fifth grade. She wasn't my teacher, but she got all the gossip about me.
Yeah.
I
She
could
knew
not-
it was going on.
I could not stay out of trouble that year. But she, sometimes she'd pick me up from school, and we'd go to the grocery store, go to H-E-B there in Wharton, Texas, and while she was shopping, I would just kind of gravitate in towards where they sold the paperback books and the magazines and things like that. And I'd pick up these Western books, and say, just open one, get through the middle and start reading. And I would think, no, that's all wrong, man. He wouldn't say that. I don't even know who this character. Nobody talks like that. So I had an opinion even back then when I didn't know anything about how these books should be written. And I had a really good teacher in high school who later went on to get her law degree, and she's now a federal judge. I think she just retired as a federal judge. Susan Lowry, my English teacher, who always encouraged me to do these writing projects. We'd get these essays and things we were assigned to do in class, but she always encouraged me in that aspect. And so, after high school, I was not interested in going to college right away. I went into the Air Force for 4 years and got the GI Bill, and then I went to college, and I had decided that I wanted to be a writer, and I was writing songs already too. My dad's a musician. He just got through playing the Luckenbach, as I told you, and so I learned, the Red River Valley when I was 8. So I was writing songs, and I wanted to write. What I really wanted to write was a novel, I got journalism just so I know the nuts and bolts of how to write, and it's a good training ground for journalists or anybody else who wants to write. But you don't have to be a journalist to write. So I finally, after graduating, I was working as a freelance magazine writer, just barely eking out a living, and in my spare time in the evening, I wrote this Western novel, a little kind of a shoot-'em-up Western, but I was using real bits and pieces of Texas history and Western history because I'm a big history buff, and to make it a little more realistic, and all the firearms were firearms they used back then in that time period, and my dad had taught me how to ride horses and rope and work cattle and all that, so I knew how to write that stuff into the book too. And I wrote my first book and had to shop it around for a while. I sent it to 25 different agents. I was told to get an agent first. And I got some good feedback from some of them, zero feedback from others, and bad feedback from some of them, but I just kept on plugging until a literary agent out of New York City.
I was waiting for the booze.
Exactly.
So where's that first book that you were just talking about? Where is that? The one that you were...
It's not on the bookshelf anymore
Oh, okay.
because it's been a long time ago.
Right. I want to read it, though.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get you a copy of it.
So you're the one.
Yeah.
But so what's that
I love
process?
Texas history.
So when you
Stealing my
wrote
material.
when you wrote that book, so you had this book sitting there for a long time, and before these people contacted you from New York, what's the time frame? Months or years? How long are you waiting on this?
Oh, it can be all the above. For me, I wrote that first book, and within a year, I had it sold. I found this agent, and he had it sold within 3 weeks, and so I thought, man, I'm on my way. But it's a slow grind, like anything else. You got to come up with a new story. You got to write it. I mean, writing a book is it's a lonesome endeavor in your dark little room. You know, you don't want a big pretty window to look out of. You'll be distracted the whole time. You know, so you're in there in this dark room writing this book. Writing songs is fun, man, and you get to go play them for people. You know?
It seems more like instant gratification as to where the book, it's like you
Yeah.
could get lost in your own mind or in the story. Does that happen to you some? Where it's I have to stop right now.
Sometimes the story takes over. I mean, I'll think I'm trying to tell my characters what to do, and they'll go, no, I'm not doing that. You're not the boss of me, you know, and they'll go do something else which makes the book more interesting. So that's just that's when you know that you're in the groove, you know, and you're in the pocket.
Can I just say, I've read most of his books, and they're all great. And one of them, it's really interesting when you know the author, and you do one of them book on tape, and they have another guy's voice reading it. It's completely wrong. It just doesn't sound right at
Mike
all.
wouldn't say it like that.
He don't talk like that.
You don't talk like that.
So I read one of your novels, Mike.
Oh, so you're the one. See,
Yeah, I did.
There he is.
On John Arthur's recommendation, I bought it off of thrift books because I wasn't willing to spend more than $2 for it.
No,
but
that's where you get them.
I did read it, and yeah, to John's point, like when you know the author of a song, there were several times I wanted to shoot you a text message or call you and be like, what the hell were you thinking killing that guy off, man? I love that dude. Or, you know, so yeah, like any good Western.
I just want to see if you
author.
cared.
Well, just for the record, how many have read a Mike Blakely book out there? Has anybody read one of his books? There you go.
1, 2, 3.
See, there's more.
Yeah.
My dad's raising one hand.
Love it.
Well, good. I got more,
No, that's
more
just
fans coming
that's
up.
an amazing process. I can't even. I mean, I try to imagine that, and I just don't think it's a feat that very few people could do effectively. I'm sure it takes a lot of
Hey,
patience.
you got some up in the lobby tonight, right? So
Yeah, I do have a few of them out there, and I buy them on thrift books myself, so I can sell them to you. It's a hell of a business.
And then, Andi, the question I have for you, quick, I was wondering this when you were talking about your last song. Was there, when you're coming up and you're working jobs and getting through, you know that your first priority is being a parent. Did you really have this dream then? Did you know, like, when my kid grows up, I'm going to do that? Or did it just come, like, more organically, like, he's grown up, now's the time? Like,
No, I knew that I had to make money in order for us to live, and I spent a lot of time working. So I absolutely had that dream because I didn't really want to work my life away, you know. Yeah, I would come home from work and I would either learn a new cover on the guitar and learn how to sing it and memorize it, and I would spend a whole week memorizing one song, whether it was my own or a cover. And even if I worked, like I said in that song, 15 hours, I would come home and just work on something. So yeah, it was more of an idea. It was a plan putting in motion. Really, I didn't know what, I didn't know when, I didn't know where. All I knew is I was going to do it when because as a musician, you know, when you start gigging regularly, you're out of the house. You're traveling, or at least driving sometimes an hour. You know, even local shows an hour, and it can be like an 8-hour day just to go play a gig. So I really couldn't work full time and gig full time. Now I did do gigs every like once a month or twice a month just to keep up on my skill level or to work on it and become a better musician, so that when I was ready to do this full time, I would have a repertoire and I would have at least some skill set in order to be able to do this full time.
and when you
it was
wrote
a
like some
plan.
of these songs on your new album and stuff, you wrote these recently, or these were actually you were writing these as you were working and
Yeah.
before you, so
They're-
and they're
they're-
just coming to life now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost because I just hear it. It's almost like if you just wrote these recently, I felt like you just had some bullets put away, like just ready, like these moments where you were like living real life, and then
Right. And
know.
I do. I'm writing. I am in a songwriter group with Bree Bagwell. She's in charge of making sure, like, she sends out a prompt every 2 weeks, and we have 2 weeks to write
is
it.
her little dog in the group?
Yeah, Whiskey. Yeah, yes.
You guys.
And she gives us a prompt, like a word or a phrase or whatever. And we have 2 weeks to write it, and we have to have it in by midnight on the 2-week mark. And so, I mean, and obviously I'm a songwriter, but this is pushing me to write more songs. And so I have I still have a lot to say, even though I wrote all those years. I picked up the guitar when my son was born. So I didn't pick up the guitar until I was 21 years old. And that's when I started writing music, is when, he was sleeping, and I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? Twiddle my thumbs? No, I'm gonna play the guitar. So that's when I started writing music, and that was 21 years ago now. And so, yeah, it was a plan. Once I started playing the guitar, 21 years ago, I started writing. I picked up the guitar so I could start writing. And that was the intent behind picking up the guitar. So I've always just written as
Some of these
as
songs,
long as
like,
I had this
yeah.
guitar in my hand, I've been writing songs.
So some of these are older, some newer too. Like they just came along the way,
Yeah.
and then very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, y'all can pick us one if you don't mind. Love listening to y'all sing, all of y'all play. So go ahead.
Yeah, all right.
Great story too. You have one of the, Andi. When I got, and we've talked off of air so much, it's hard to fit this all in a short amount of time. But one of my favorite stories that I've gotten to learn about in Texas music, because it's just perseverance and patience, and also doing the right thing. Selfless living. I think that's beautiful. And it's great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's when I would go to work, I was like, this isn't forever. It's just what I need to do right now.
Which fast food restaurant was better? Put them on blast. Let's go.
Whataburger paid more, but it was 24/7. I'll just say that. So
Oh, boy.
not worth it.
Yeah.
I loved working for Taco Bell. I loved it.
You have to write a song about fast food late shift. There's a song in that. I know it.
Yeah, and that was just I love the feeling of success. So like even working in a restaurant, I shot up to general manager because that's just what I'm gonna do in this world, and people can look down on you when they're going through the drive-thru, like, oh, you work in a drive-thru, you must not be very successful. It's like, no, this is I feel good about this. This is a really good career, and it was a really good career, and I was really happy for it, and grateful and blessed, and glad to be out of it.
You could call that. You could call that song "Red Eye on Rye."
Red Eye and Rye, perfect. I did do all-nighters for sure. This song actually was an older song that I wrote when I first picked up the guitar and started singing. It is on my album. The Billie Jeans sing on it. It's called Momma's Music, and I wrote it for my mom. And my mom is a beautiful singer, so. Tapping her thumbs on the steering wheel, she knew every word and she knew them well. Bye bye, Miss American Pie, and every word of California dreaming. La da da, la da da, da da da. When she was young, she was a flower child. The side she was on was always a little wild. Now that I know where I get it from, just turn the music up and think of when I was young. La da da, la da da da, da da da. Mama's music, I knew it, I sang along. Every verse and every chorus of every little song. I didn't expect to hear it today. Now I got a tear rolling down my face every time it takes me to the place of Mama's music. I think of the day when we were driving around. They played the best songs, she turned it up real loud. We sang together in harmony. She said the song would always be for you and me. La da da, la da da da, da da da. Mama's music, I knew it, I sang along. Every verse and every chorus of every little song. I didn't expect to hear it today. Now I got a tear rolling down my face every time it takes me to the place of Mama's music. Now I got a life of my own. I even like to sing my own songs. Never forget just where I got them from. Mama's music, I knew it, I sang along. Every verse and every chorus of every little song. I didn't expect to hear it today. Now I got a tear rolling down my face every time it takes me to the place of Mama's music. Yeah, yeah. Mama's music. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Tapping her thumbs on the steering wheel. She knew every word and she knew them well. Bye bye, Miss American Pie, and every word of California dreaming. Thank you. That's on the record. It's Mama's music. Thank you.
We were talking in the green room before the show, just bantering like we always do, but just
I was eating.
You were eating.
Same.
Yeah. In a real short, like little statement, Andi just threw out, like in the conversation, she's like, "I love storytelling songs," and that's really the heart of Texas music. To me, that's what makes the Texas songwriter unique. Maybe compared to, pop songwriters that are making way more money than us in L.A. or something like that. But
Well, they have to. They live in L.A. It's expensive to live there.
But,
It's
Fredericksburg, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We tell stories. We have to tell stories. That's what we do. At the heart of it all, we're all kind of folk songwriters. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's true.
Well, Mike, let's have you do a song, and then we're going to do a little intermission so that folks can refresh their drinks and all that stuff. So, yeah, what you got?
That's right. So, yeah, we're going to kind of double team this here. John Greenberg and I both wrote this song, and got in two different places, too. So I started it and couldn't finish it. Sometimes if you're a lone songwriter, you come up with this idea. I had a song called something to do with looking for a reason to ride. And there's an old cowboy song that's called "I Outgrew the Wagon," and it's about this old cowboy who he's just not sure how much longer he can do this. The wagon is a reference to the chuck wagon. In the old days, they would follow the chuck wagon around day after day, sometimes week after week, working cattle, sleeping on the ground, freezing and sleeping in the rain, and working in the sleet and rain, snow, and all that. So this guy's wondering, he finally admitted he outgrew the wagon. So I was looking for a similar idea. And I'm a guy that likes positive songs for the most part, I like to try to stay positive. And this was kind of a bummer of an idea about looking for a reason to ride. So it wasn't going anywhere for me. And as we often do as co-writers with John Arthur Martinez and also John M. Greenberg and I, we have a piece of a song that ain't working, we'll toss it out to the other guys, It may have been laying around for months or years or whatever. And we'll work on these songs sometimes on the road. Or on this particular one, I just said, John, I got this idea, it kind of goes blah, blah, blah like this. It's all I got. It's going nowhere. Fix it. Do something with it. And I'm going to just tell Johnny to tell the rest of the story on how this got...
30 minutes later.
No, wasn't that easy.
Pretty close. But I think it started off like as a COVID thing, right? That's kind of like the moment that your horse riding kind of stopped.
No, I don't remember that being part of it at all. It was more of a... Why am I doing this? Is this what I'm supposed to do? This much of this particular thing the rest of my life? I got other things to do. I need to play more music. So that maybe I didn't tell you that before you finished the song.
Well, it's all coming together right here.
It had nothing to do with COVID for me.
That's good.
COVID didn't make a whole bunch of difference to me really either way.
Yeah.
But and so I just kept doing what I was doing. Luckily, I lived here. But that was it, Johnny. I handed it to you. And then what did you do?
Well, I have kind of an interesting way of writing and co-writing. Sometimes I'll co-write with people in the same room, and I'm sure you have the same, some of that. And sometimes what I'll do is I will go find a hotel in the middle of nowhere where There's nothing to do. There's no one I know. And that means I'm kind of locked in. And I'll usually knock out about 3 songs in that deal. And I'll reward myself. I'll go get barbecue or something if I finish a song and pat myself on the back. But I was really nervous about this one because we did kind of have the same idea for the hook line, the Reason to Ride. And I finished it. And first of all, I'm about as cowboy as that light bulb over there, and I'm just not. I mean, but Mike and I have ridden a lot of horses together, but he's of the two of us, he's the rancher. So when I wrote the song, I wrote it with him in mind. When I finished the song, and I thought, okay, well, eventually he'll just sing it, and he never did. He's like, just sing it, dude. You sing it fine, and we're gonna record on the new Outlaw Firm record. It was really great. The process, it was really that ice storm of 2023 in January, about a year and a half ago. And I was out in Junction at this Holiday Inn or whatever, colder than hell, man. And there was nothing to do. So I motivated myself. I put the gun back in the drawer, and I just finished the song. And I sent it to Mike. I said, just on your iPhone. I just sang it in my iPhone. I said, God, this. And he goes, perfect. Don't change a thing. I go, really? So that's and we've been playing it ever since in the Outlaw Firm. I'll play it at my solo shows and stuff, but it's called Reason to Ride.
I'm a glorified harmony singer. John's going to sing it. I'm going to sing along.
As a young buck, I would saddle up for no reason at all. Ride across these ranges from the winter through the fall. For 20 some odd years I rode for the brand with pride. I didn't need a reason to ride. No, I didn't need a reason to ride. Something I'm still yearning inside. Some mountain air and a mounted mare and a spirit as my guide. I didn't need a reason to ride. There's a bunkhouse full of tall tales, some with laughter, some with woes. I feel the chill of winter from my hat brim to my toes. The flame that stoked this cowboy life no longer burns inside. I'm looking for a reason to ride. Yeah, I'm looking for a reason to ride. There's something I'm still yearning deep inside. A trusty steed and a cowboy creed ain't enough to be my guide. I'm looking for a reason to ride. Mountain range between us, and it's been way too long. I love this cowboy life, but with her's where I belong. And only one more season, then I'll make that gal my bride. Finally found my reason to ride. Yeah, she's my reason to ride. This winter of my cowboy life, I'll gallop on that stallion through these ranges one last time. She's my reason to ride. I finally found my reason to ride.
John Greenberg.
Thank you, Mike Blakely on that. Thanks.
John, you made a great choice putting the gun back in the drawer, man. Great
Thanks,
choice.
thanks.
And, Mike, would you consider someone who milks a cow, could we put that under the cowboy umbrella?
What, a milk's a cow?
Yeah.
Yeah. What
There we go, guys. I'm a cowboy.
You got bovine experience.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert yet, but I'm advanced cow milker,
All
honestly.
right.
Well,
Left and right-handed.
You're a one-cow cowboy? Is that?
Yeah, well, actually 2 cows.
Two cow
cows.
cowboy.
Yeah,
All right.
and I have some goats, too. So I'm a goat boy.
we won't talk about your.
You start doing it two-handed, you'll become a milkmaid.
Oh, but she'll kick me. That's the problem, man.
Oh.
Maybe with the baby, you know, I can train her to do 2 hands at once. But see, that's when I get expert.
That's utterly crazy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, man.
Hey, we're gonna do a little intermission, y'all, so that y'all can top off your drinks. This intermission does not exist for you to leave. Some of you were thinking about that, but the
Don't do it.
the tip jar guitar case is down here. Trust me, there's cool stuff coming the second half. So freshen up, come back in here. We'll get started here in about 10 minutes. All right.
See you all out there.